What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today I thought I'd do a follow up to my 5 changes to Capital Supremacy video by going over 5 changes that I would love to see for Galactic Assault. Now, GA is probably the most popular game mode, or maybe now even with Capital Supremacy, but despite that, it does often have a few issues that can make it very frustrating to play. And obviously, this far into the game's lifespan, you want to make these experiences as enjoyable as possible, because the more frustrated people become, the more likely they are going to give up on the game, which is definitely not a good thing for a nearly 2-year-old game. To be fair, the game is probably as close to being balanced as it's ever been when you think back to some of the broken elements we've had to deal with since launch, but nonetheless I do think there are some changes that would make it a better mode, and so that's what we're going to be going over today. So getting right into it, the first thing on my list, and for me this is easily the most important one, is that we need more maps for Galactic Assault. As of right now, we do have 13 large scale maps in the rotation, and don't get me wrong, that's a pretty decent amount of maps, especially with how massive and how detailed they all are, but in saying that, we've pretty much only received one map since launch with Geonosis, as Crate doesn't really count since it was only released late due to The Last Jedi. For the most part, I really like just about every map in the rotation, with the exception of maybe 2 or 3 maps, but even though I do like the current maps, they are becoming pretty stale since we have been playing them all for so long now. I remember when they added Geonosis and the amount of hype that surrounded the game at that time, as it was pretty much our first new map, and despite whether people love or hate Geonosis as a map, it was still a really nice change up, and it made GA feel so much different even though it was only just one single map. Whether they will add more GA maps, I'm honestly not too sure. As of right now, it kind of seems as though Capital Supremacy is their main focus, and I am okay with that since it is new, but at the same time they do need to show some love to the game mode that probably kept this game alive during what most of us would probably call the dark times of Battlefront 2. Obviously, we know that Felucia is being added to Capital Supremacy later in the year, and don't get me wrong, I'm extremely excited for that to come, but in my opinion, if they only add that to CS and not GA, then that's going to be a massive mistake that will no doubt piss off a whole lot of people in the community. They're making a new map already, it's still being designed as we speak, and so as far as I'm concerned, they really need to look at adding Felucia into Galactic Assault, even if it is a few months after it drops for Capital Supremacy. On top of that, I'd love to see more maps like Scarif, Coruscant, Celeste, and just as many others as we could possibly get, but I'd imagine that's just a pipe dream right now, as I'm not at all confident that we will end up getting any of those maps added. It seems like Felucia might be our last hope for a new GA map, and so all we can do is hope that the devs are looking to put it into the GA rotation as well, because Galactic Assault is desperately in need of some new locations to play on. Now, moving on to the next thing on the list, and for me, this would be looking at some way to get rid of people camping on the menus, waiting for a hero to die so that they can swoop in and take that hero as soon as they're available. You might be wondering what's so bad about this, and for me the main reason I hate it is just because half the time you'll have like 7 out of 19 teammates dead and just sitting on the menus, so then it's you and 12 teammates fighting against a team of 20 enemies, and it just completely throws off the balance of the game since your whole team is on the menu spamming X. Now, the way I think this could be fixed is by adding a timer on the menus which just automatically spawns you in if you sit there doing nothing, similar to how it is in HVV, where you have a 30-second timer before you actually automatically spawn. Giving players maybe a 15 or 20 second timer on the menus means everyone can easily change their cars around if they need to and still have time to spawn, yet for those who want to camp for a hero, they'll just automatically be spawned as the last class they played, as this would almost instantly get rid of people camping on the menus. The other idea that I have seen out there, and shout out to Rocky Papa 58 on Reddit for this one, is to add a hero queue system similar to the old Battlefront games, where once you get enough battle points you can queue for a hero and then just spawn back in as a trooper and keep playing. Then once that hero becomes available, it pops up on the screen asking if you'd like to spawn in as that hero, which again would pretty much completely solve this issue. Either of these options, or honestly probably even both of these options, really would help fix the problem, because it's so frustrating when you look at the leaderboard and half your team is dead and waiting on the menus to get a hero, because like I said, it essentially makes it like you're playing in a half empty lobby. Moving on to the next change I'd like to see, and this actually relates to the last one a little bit, which is that I think there needs to be a hero cooldown timer to stop people from spamming the same heroes over and over again. The amount of times I've killed an Anakin or a Palpatine and I finally feel like I can run around without getting melted, only for a new full health Anakin or Palpatine to come back 14 milliseconds after I've just killed them. It's so frustrating to see, and I feel as though teams should at least get a little bit of a break if they do manage to take out a hero. I know it might be a little bit annoying if you really want to play as, say, Luke, but then someone takes him first so you can't get him, and then when that player dies you think there's your chance to grab Luke, yet he's on a cooldown timer. That might be a little bit annoying to some players, but honestly I think it's just completely unfair if you take out a powerful enemy and then 2 seconds later another one arrives with full health. A while back, this did actually used to be a thing. There was a 15-second cooldown after a hero died, but as far as I can tell, it's no longer there because the amount of times I kill someone and they come back instantly, it seems like that system has just completely disappeared, so I'm not actually too sure. If anyone knows, then make sure to let me know down in the comments section, but as far as I know, this system is no longer in place. Now, the fourth thing on my list is a little bit of a topic within the community at the moment, and this is that I think vehicles and starfighters are super overpowered, mainly against heroes, however they are OP against troopers as well. Now, I do understand that that's just how it is. A tanker and ATST is obviously going to dominate against troopers, but for me that's just completely unfair because of how cheap these vehicles are. I could pick a speeder on Endor for 200 battle points, which you can literally get with an officer for spawning, buffing 3 teammates and then dying. And then with that speeder, I could go out there and kill pretty much as many heroes as I want, as there's just nothing they can do to stop you. And if they do stop you, then guess what? I'll just use another 200 battle points and do the same thing over and over again. Now, obviously, I don't play like that because I have a soul and I wasn't spawned from Satan himself, but nonetheless, there is nothing stopping me from doing that, and it really can just ruin the game for so many people, all for such a low amount of battle points. There's also the whole ATST thing at the moment where their anti-vehicle rocket, or anti-hero rocket as a lot of us call it, can one-hit kill any hero in the game pretty much, and for less than half the price of the hero itself. That is just absolutely ridiculous, and again, it just completely ruins the balancing. I could also start on strafe runners, but I'd rather not have an aneurysm today, so I'm just going to leave it at that. But I do think the vehicle balancing and battle point costs really do need to be looked at. If they're going to be so easy, then they should at least cost as much as a hero, or vice versa. If they're going to cost next to nothing, then they should be useless, because the way they are, it is just completely imbalanced. Now, the last thing on the list for today is also to do with battle points, and this is relating to how quickly each class can earn them. We all know that officers are so much faster than everyone else at getting BP, and before everyone says, oh, I can get a hero with the specialist class, so can everyone. But if you have 10 kills with the specialist and someone gets 10 kills with the officer will always have more battle points, whether you want to accept that or not. The devs need to take a look at the balancing and figure out a way to make all the classes earn BP at a similar rate. And sure, the officer class is really helpful for your team by buffing health and stuff like that, and that does deserve a reward for those playing the objective, but in my opinion it needs to be just a little bit more balanced than it is in its current state. But anyway guys, that is going to do it for this video. If you do agree with some of the stuff that I mentioned, then make sure to leave a like down below, or if you disagree, then definitely make sure to leave a dislike, and hopefully we can get some eyes on this video and hopefully see a few changes. If there's anything that I didn't mention that you guys think needs to change, then definitely let me know down in the comments section, and I might even do another follow-up to this, as well as probably doing a HVV edition too. If you are new to the channel, then feel free to subscribe and turn on your notifications so you don't miss out on any more Battlefront 2 videos or live streams. Thank you all so much for watching. You guys have a great day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.